Today we'll be talking about why it can feel like such a struggle to be authentic sometimes, what that even really means, and how we can start to instead learn to truly accept our own selves and be brave enough to let go of the need for approval. Stick around. Welcome back. My name's Nina and I'm a life coach that specializes in personal development. Here at this channel we talk all about our emotional well-being, understanding our own psychology, and leading our best life possible. So if you aren't already a subscriber, please take a moment and become one. We definitely want you to stay connected. So today's topic is all about authenticity, which is something that I am extremely passionate about and something that I feel that is completely undervalued, especially in today's society. The ability to be authentic is directly related to life fulfillment, inner peace, success, happiness, and strongly impacts our physical, emotional, and mental health. But for so many people, somewhere along the lines, our authenticity gets derailed. And whether we acknowledge it or not, it can lead to an incredible amount of suffering. So today we're going to talk about what authenticity really means, the most common reasons why we deny our own truths, signs we aren't being authentic, and how we can start on a path of healing so that we can learn to accept ourselves and be the person we really are. So let's start with the basics and officially define the term. So authenticity can be described as the degree to which our actions are congruent with our beliefs and desires despite external pressure. So I think the last part of that phrase is key, because when we don't have external pressure, of course we can be authentic because that is our natural state of being. And it becomes very, very easy when there's no resistance, when no one else has an agenda for our life. But realistically, that does not happen that often. So what is this external pressure then? What creates this motivation to want to hide our true selves or to mask our true feelings? It can be because we are scared of judgment for others, that we feel shame about a facet of ourselves. It can be a worry that we'll be a disappointment or an embarrassment, that we want to be accepted by others, that we may feel that someone's approval or love is at stake, that we aren't in a safe environment to be able to express ourselves, that we feel there might be some perceived benefit from acting a different way, such as financial gain. It can be a desire to avoid any stigma that may be associated with our feelings or our situation. And oftentimes it's simply because we don't think that we are enough as we truly are. So any or all of these things, or even different things, could be coming into play, and we have to notice that all of these things, or most of these things, really have pain attached to them. So the behavior itself is initiated out of pain and then goes on to cause further pain. Now, in some of the situations that involve authenticity, there is actual safety that is at stake. And these situations need to be treated differently and with extreme precaution. So I'm going to be talking about that in another video. So today we're going to be talking more about cases where it is more about a perceived judgment or about rejection, or again, just that need for approval. So that being said, let's go ahead and look at some of the signs that might be pointing towards the fact that we are struggling with authenticity. Some of the indications are people-pleasing, constantly comparing ourselves to others, needing to lie about situations or feelings, staying quiet during arguments, feeling guilty about our own choices, secretly feeling resentful towards anyone that we believe is putting pressure on us, feeling that other people don't understand us, always thinking twice before we speak, engaging in excessive escapism, feeling a sense of self-betrayal, not trusting our own decisions, feeling like no one really knows our true selves, ignoring our own needs, and feeling hopeless about the future. And this list can really go on and on, because when we struggle with being authentic, there's just a wide range of negative consequences that can come into play, such as depression and anxiety. So it's something that we really, really need to take extremely seriously. We have to understand that when we are denying our truth in this way, we're not only telling ourselves over and over that we are not okay how we are letting other people control and dictate our life, when really it is our own life to lead. Now, it is understandable that we feel this pressure because in a lot of cases, people really do prefer us to be a certain way. They really do expect us to be a different way, and they may show signs of disapproval or disappointment when we do not act in that way, and that can cause a lot of pain and suffering for ourselves. But in the end, again, it truly is our life to lead. At our core, we need to start to learn that there are no mistakes, that we are perfect how we are. We were created this way for a reason, that we really don't need to change unless we choose to change. But it really does not serve us to try to be a different way or try to pretend to others that we are a different way, because all that does is foster a relationship that is actually inauthentic. So what good is it if someone else is believing us to be someone that we are not? We are not really having the benefits of having a true and intimate relationship, whether it be with a friend or a parent or a romantic partner, because we are not representing who we really are. We have to keep in mind also that even though we're putting this pressure on ourselves to live in a way that makes other people happy, they do not have that same burden. So they are not living their life to make us happy. So this is not something that is reciprocal. This is very, very one-sided. And again, this pressure is understandable, but it is something that we need to start to look at a little more closely. And I know so often our motives are so kind and noble, but it really doesn't matter if our motives are rooted out of love or of fear, because the results are the same. We are living a lie, and if we are really representing ourselves in one way, we're really robbing the rest of the world of who we really are, because there are so many wonderful things about ourselves that the world deserves to see. Just because one person wants us to be a certain way doesn't mean that it is the best way to be. It's just their personal preference. And love simply cannot have any conditions on it. So if we are thinking about not being authentic because we want to please the people in our life that we love, we have to understand that if it is a real relationship, that they will need to love us for who we are. And that may take some adjustments, especially if we've been kind of disguising ourselves for a while. But in the end, if it is a true and genuine, authentic relationship, they need to really appreciate and understand our own authenticity. And when you really think about it, although we can change our behavior and we can pretend to be a certain way, we certainly cannot actually change our fundamental truth. So this is something that is very important to learn as early on in life as possible, because authenticity is really one of the strongest indicators of living a life that feels meaningful and feels very fulfilling. So what can we do? What are some strategies that can help us to be more authentic? We have to remember that perfection does not exist, and there's no person that is better or worse than the other person. Someone can judge us, but that does not mean that the judgment is accurate. So we have to, again, learn to embrace and love all the different aspects of ourselves, even if we feel like we are not living up to the expectations of other people. As long as we know that we are doing the best we can every single day and living within our own moral, boundaries, then we are on the right track, and that's really all we can ask of ourselves. We have to understand how important self-love and self-acceptance really is, because when we don't have that, we really have nothing. We have nothing to call our own. We have to have a safe space to be able to truly express ourselves and be the person that we were born to be. Please remember also that conformity and comparison really just lead us to very dark places. These are things that we learn usually in our childhood, that we cling to, that we really need to start breaking away from as adults, because they are just so detrimental to our mental health. And they really just reinforce that idea that we are not enough as we are, that we are not okay. And we are okay, and we certainly are enough. And lastly, we have to remember that we need to be patient with ourselves. We have been probably like this our whole life, And so it's going to take a little bit of time to start reversing this behavior. And we can do that by starting to make just small, authentic choices for ourselves, because it's a skill. It's something that we can learn and we can build upon. But if we try to make these huge changes at once, sometimes it can make us feel frightened and we go back to our own behavior. So if we can just start small, just, saying one small truth or taking one small action that we want to really take, and build and build and build from there. And it's also important that we find people around us that are supportive. Authentic relationships really can be found with people that do understand us a little bit better. If we are feeling that our circle of friends or the people around us really can't love and accept us, certainly there are people that can, because the flaw does not lie within us. It lies within the people that are really judging us, if that is the case. And it also comes down to us realizing that we need to accept ourselves, because a lot of times that judgment is self-imposed. We simply can no longer let other people design our lives, because they don't need to live it. We are the ones that actually need to live this life, and we are the ones that bear the burden when we are denying our own truth. So make no mistake, you are worthy, you are enough, and you are deserving of love, of acceptance, and respect. And there's really no reason for you not to truly become your authentic self, because even if the rest of the world can't relate, you are really giving yourself the greatest gift, which is being able to be you. And you are one of a kind. You are a unique, magnificent creature, and the world needs to see who you are, because you are a gift to this world. So I truly hope this video was helpful to you, and if it was, please like it, share it with someone else who may need to hear the same message today, and also do become a subscriber if you aren't one already. We definitely want you to stay connected, and I thank you so much for spending time with me today. Have an absolutely amazing day.